Welcome to Mastering the Math of Business with Lauren Young. I'm so excited to get started with this video. I already jumped ahead. This Mastering the Math series is about job descriptions. Those who have worked for large corporations understand them, they know them, they've had many of them, but most small business owners fail to see the benefit of them. Even those who have worked in large corporations who now own their own business, they fail to connect the significance of their job descriptions or the need for job descriptions. And this is particularly interesting to me when you look at it from the standpoint that there's a lot of money going out in a business to meet payroll. And what I have found over my travels is that this is a common reason why many businesses make less money than they should. In fact, every business that I went into that didn't have job descriptions were struggling with their margins. In other words, they weren't making as much profit as they should be or could be because they weren't clear on what the duties, responsibilities, and accountabilities were for jobs. What skill levels did people need to have to be able to perform the job satisfactorily? The point is, you pay a person in exchange for them performing a job. And if they don't have a job description, then what is that person exchanging the wages you pay them for? That's why job descriptions matter. And they really matter when you look at it from this standpoint. Here's the three components of a P&L statement. Each of these three components reflects wages paid. And for many businesses, these are some of the largest numbers for those businesses. In fact, most businesses, when you look at their overhead costs, this is typically the biggest number in that series. If you look at most businesses from an operating perspective, direct labor is either the number one or number two cost, depending on how much is tied up in materials and subcontractors. And then this one over here, owner's compensation, this one's typically an afterthought. And that's always a reason, because it's an afterthought, that's a big reason why this is less than what it should be. And another reason why it's less than what it should be is because they're overpaying over here because they don't have job descriptions. So let's take an actual client. These aren't nice, neat, round numbers. These are actual plan numbers. And you're going to see them reflected here in the narrative. The goal for this business is to earn $2.6 million in operating income. Before they get to that operating income, they will have spent $1.9 million in direct labor and office wages. Or put another way, for every dollar they collect in sales, they will have spent 15 cents of that dollar on wages, not counting the owners. So an improvement in the wages paid based on better productivity because people know and understand what their job is, conservatively, that's a 3% bump. A 3% bump would add an extra $370,000 to this business's operating income. An 8% bump would bump it up to $982,000 in additional profits above and beyond what they're planning for. So let's look at the math here to just get a little more appreciation on the value of a job descriptions. And that starts with understanding four core numbers. In other words, what are you planning to sell? How much are you going to pay your direct labor to convert those sales into gross profit? What are you going to pay your office staff to support the business? And what's left over is going to be your operating income. So knowing those four numbers allows you to gauge the productivity impact of job descriptions on your business. So we're going to do 3%. Just keep it really conservative. But just think about it. Think about paying a wage to somebody either weekly or every other week, and they're not clear on what's expected of them from their job. That's a problem. And so let's see what the opportunity is when you don't make it a problem. Here's the numbers. So this is the amount of wages paid. That's what it reflects in sales. That's the operating income target. This 3% bump is that 370,000. So instead of making 21%, they're making 24%. Let's say that this business actually does 8% improvement. In other words, people are engaged. They understand what their job is, and they're working towards achieving it. That's now worth 982,000, or the operating income has gone from 21% to 29%. There is real bottom line impact in job descriptions. The caveat is that these job descriptions need to be well written, and they need to be very reflective of what the core duties are of the job, and how both management and the employee will know that job is being done well. So the call to action with this video is to appreciate that job descriptions and a performance management process are not reserved to multi-billion-dollar corporations. In fact, one of the reasons why they remain multi-billion-dollar corporations is they know the impact of the wages they pay on their profits. And so they have large HR functions charged with making sure the job descriptions are a reflection of the work being performed, and there's a performance management process to ensure that the people in those jobs are performing at acceptable levels, and if they're not, corrective action is taken. So visit business-cpr.com to access more resources such as this, to appreciate just how easy it can be to bring some discipline in managing jobs to your business. Do that and you will make more money. In fact, what you'll find is that yes, these numbers are going to remain big, but as a percent of sales, they're going to go down because these numbers here are going to go up. That's the point. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Mastering the Math of Business with Lauren Young. Comments and suggestions are welcome, just as likes are, and subscriptions. Don't miss out. There's a lot of little, listen to me. There's a lot of things that are done in large corporations that should be done in small businesses, and they're not that complicated to put into play. Thanks for tuning in. Look forward to joining you again soon.